What's going on, guys? Welcome to the top 10 best moments in Gotham, according to me. Obviously, if you guys didn't see the top 10 worst moments, go check those out over on the previous video. But in this one, for those of you that love Gotham, I'm going to talk about the 10 moments that I thought were epic on this show. And again, these are my opinions. But yeah, let's just go ahead and freaking jump into it because I know you guys want to know what these 10 moments are. In case you didn't see the other video, these are in no particular order, so don't, hate on me because like, what? That's number one, blah, blah, blah. No, these are in no particular order. I just wrote them down and I'm going off of the list that way. So yeah, let's jump into it. Number 10 is very simple. It was just a cool scene that I absolutely loved, and that was when Gordon was going to see Galavan and he got into a fight in the elevator. Just the way they filmed the fighting in this elevator, I thought was epic. The way he was getting choked and he like spun around the thing and he killed the dude, whatever. Like that was such an awesome scene. And that was when I was like, oh! Like I know I have that video online still where I was just like, Gordon, badass Gordon. Like it was just so awesome to see that scene, and just having a freaking fight in an elevator was super epic. And it was stuff like that that I was hoping Gotham was going to continue doing because it was so creative and it was so entertaining that just watching Gordon be a badass all the time was, would have kept me in the show no matter what. I would be like, yeah! But yeah, we didn't really see too many more unique fighting scenes like that. They got pretty generic later on, but that was one of the best fight scenes in all of Gotham. Moving on to number 9 is Badass Penguin. And, he's had plenty of badass moments, but this particular one was when he got back at the family that killed his father by serving up the kids to their mom. Like, that was, holy crap, crazy, super gangster on Penguin's freaking... I'm at a loss for words for it because it was so awesome. It was so like, oh my god. Like, it was awesome. That's all I can say about it. And that was when I just knew. I was like, this is the Penguin I want. This is the freaking Penguin that I want to see all of the time. He has no limits. He will do crazy stuff. And this was just one of my favorite moments in Gotham because it literally, anytime you can make me go like, I love it. Anytime you can just, drop my jaw, freaking I get excited or I'm just blown away by what just happened. Those are the things I live for. Just shock moments are the best. And that was one of them in Gotham. He freaking fed the children to the mom. Like, what? Number 8 is sticking with Penguin. And it's funny because this was actually on my worst list, but it's on the best list for the end reason, and that was wasting Grundy. Because as I talked about in the other video, I said this was one of the worst things in Gotham because they just literally brought Grundy on the show to give Butch his hand back, and then they cured him. He was able to talk, all that jazz. He gets cured by Hugo Strange with the help of Penguin, and then Penguin ends up shooting Butch in the head because he wanted to get back at Tabitha. That was one of the best, like, I was really down on the show at this point. Like, I didn't really care about the finale. I didn't care if the show got renewed or anything. I was just really down on the show. I was still watching because I still want to try to enjoy the show. And this was one of the things that really got me. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'm really interested now. And Penguin is keeping me on this show. Like, seriously. Like, he is awesome. I was just like, wow, that was awesome. It was so planned out. It was just like, that was good storytelling. Like, they just built it from one thing. Penguin never forgot about Tabitha, because I know a lot of people are like, are people just gonna forget that Tabitha killed Penguin's mom? Like, I'm just so glad that that was solid storytelling all the way up into that point. Like, oh yeah, we're friends, I'll help you out, blah 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 blah. And then he ends up killing Butch just to get back at Tabitha. Like, it was so great. It was so awesome. I love Penguin. He's definitely one of the best things about this show, and that is why he has 2 spots on this list. Man, back to back. Like, Penguin's awesome. Number 7 on this list is the Azrael battle. If you guys don't remember what this was, it was when Azrael was like in that old warehouse or whatever, and the GCPD's there trying to shoot at him, and Bruce is there, and he sees Azrael just like being all badass, being like a Dark Knight. You see the cape floating in the wind, and he's like dodging everything. He's being shot at him. And there's just like this kind of like cinematic moment where Bruce is watching Azrael, and he's all like, that could be me someday. I could be awesome like this Cape Crusader that is dodging all of these bullets. And for me, I think I even said in that review video, I'm like, that is where like the Batman is just being visualized. The Batman is being born in Bruce's mind because he sees that somebody could be amazing like that, could dodge bullets, could do stuff like that. And it was just so awesome the way they shot it. It was just like Bruce was like, woo! And Azrael was doing all this cool stuff with dodging bullets and stuff. That was one of my favorite moments because it made me feel like there was progression towards the Batman character. One thing I always said about Gotham is, you don't need to give me Bruce in the Batsuit. Like, I don't need that. All I ever needed was Bruce progressing all the time towards Batman, because this is a prequel story. He should always be training. He should always be learning new stuff. That's all Bruce's character should have been, and I think that's all he ever needed to be. He didn't need to be this party boy. He didn't need to be in this love interest with anything. I mean, you could have love interest here and there, but he just always needed to be training. He didn't need to be getting into all this other trouble. And this was just one of those moments where I felt like, I was like, yes, that is a Batman, like, before story moment. And I just thought that was one of the best moments in Gotham because I felt like that was foreshadowing of what Bruce could eventually become. Number 6 on this list is Professor Pig. And oh my god, this was one of my favorite things about Season 4. And I think, like, Professor Pig, just bringing him on this show, one, I do want to point out, because a lot of people are like, man, you're so, freaking connected to the comics. Like, this isn't the comics, bro. And this is where I want to prove that, no, I'm not so honed up on the comics or whatever you want to call it, because Professor Pig didn't follow his comic book origin, but they made Professor Pig look awesome. Like, this has been one of my biggest gripes about the show. I don't need you to be 100% comic book accurate, but you can feel like the character with still doing different things, and I feel like they made Professor Pig feel like the Professor Pig character. Totally had a different origin from the comic book. You know, they made him seem very different. I mean, they killed him, which sucked. But yeah, they made him be very different in this show, but he felt awesome. He felt like a creepy character. He felt like Professor Pig. And that was one of the biggest things that I loved about Season 4. I know a lot of people know that I was down on Season 4. I was kind of done with Gotham. But Professor Pig did keep me in the show while he was doing that. He was just, the way he was toying with Gordon was so good, where he pretended to be that cop. He pretended to be a nice, good cop. And then it turns out that that was Professor Pig, and he was capturing people, and he was like, you know, putting the pig heads on them, and then he was feeding people to, like, it was just, he was so psychotic and crazy that I felt like it fit the character so well. He fit in the show very well, and those were some of my best moments, some of my favorite moments of Season 4. So, definitely, one of the best things Gotham has done is bringing Professor Pig onto the show and making him a badass. Number 5 on this list, and sticking with badass characters, is the Mad Hatter arc. Man, I said this in my reviews when I was still doing them, that Mad Hatter legitimately gave me nightmares. This is not a lie. I'm not trying to over-exaggerate for the sake of a video. I literally had a nightmare with the Mad Hatter where he was just doing that little rhyme and his eyes were going black in the freaking dream. I was just like, oh my god, and he was just like rhyming and just like, I was scared. I was legitimately like, what the? I woke up and I was like, what the hell? Freaking Mad Hatter! It was crazy, and his character arc in Season 3 was just awesome, because he was there from beginning to end, and I know he like dipped out at the start of, you know, the second half of the season, but then he came back and finished it. He was a big part of the season, and I really enjoyed that. And he was just genuinely like creepy with the rhyming. The rhyming was so good, and just, again, another character that didn't follow his origin like the comic books, but they still made him seem awesome. And I don't know, as Mad Hatter was, I've said this before when people ask me, like, who is your favorite, you know, villain in Gotham? I always say Mad Hatter, because he genuinely creeped me out at times, but I just loved his character so much with the rhyming and everything going on. He was genuinely one of my favorite moments of Gotham, because he was awesome, man! Just go back and watch those episodes. The Mad Hatter was legit. Number 4 on this list is actually another Penguin moment, and that is when he killed Galavan, aka Azrael, with a bazooka. Do I really even need to explain this? Like, that was just OP. Like, it was just so awesome that, you know, Gordon, everybody's like, oh my god, you know, Galavan's back to life, you know, he's this Azrael character, and then he gets exploded. Like, this is one thing Gotham's had issues with like, oh man, they keep bringing people back from the dead, nobody stays, you know, nobody stays dead in this city. And Penguin made sure that Azrael, aka Galavan, whoever you want to call him, is not coming back by exploding that dude with a bazooka. Like, Penguin has some of the most craziest moments in this show. Probably some of the best moments in the show, to be honest. That's why he's on my list 3 times. But blowing up, I actually think that Butch blows him up with the bazooka, to be honest. But Penguin was there. It was Butch and Penguin that freaking blow up Galavan. And that was one of the craziest moments. And it was very campy. Very campy. I'm going to put that out there because I know if you watch the worst video, I hated the freaking bomb water thing. That was at the top of my list, or somewhat at the top of my list. And this, kind of the same thing, but this was, somebody was dying here, and it wasn't like, they weren't trying to make this super dramatic at the time it happened. Not like the bomb thing. The bazooka thing was just so out of left field that I legitimately laughed at it, but I was still crazily shocked by it. It was just awesome. It was awesome. Like, you can do campy stuff here and there, like, you know, whatever. That was just out of the blue, and it worked. You know, sometimes crazy crap just works. And I feel like Penguin, if he's in it and he does something crazy, it just works. And like Bazooka, Azrael, definitely one of the best moments in Gotham. Number 3 on this list, of course, I wasn't going to leave you hanging, Jerome fans, was Jerome's first episode where the interrogation scene, basically. I mean, everybody kind of equates that to like the Dark Knight kind of, you know, interrogation scene. He had his own version of an interrogation scene where he looks down and he just starts laughing, and that is like the birth of the Joker, which they can't use the title, blah, 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 but it was the birth of Jerome. Like, that's what we're going to say. It was the birth of Jerome being his crazy self, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Like, I genuinely enjoyed it. I think I was covering the show. This might have been my first video, or I might have not. No, I didn't cover stuff in season 1. I didn't cover stuff in season 1. Season 2, when Jerome came back, was when I first started covering this show. I didn't cover season 1, but that was one of the things that got me interested, because at the time of Gotham being real, Gotham season 1 was okay. Like, it wasn't the greatest, and they always introduced a character one episode and he was arrested by the end of the episode. I didn't really like that. But with Jerome, it was cool to see that iconic character before he even got to develop into anything. Unfortunately, if you go watch the worst video, losing Jerome and him not being the Joker and bringing in Jeremiah was definitely on my worst list, because everything cool Jerome ever did just got washed away. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's dead now. And that sucked. Like, they brought him back just to kill him again. And I don't know. I think it was just kind of dumb. Didn't really like that. That's why it's on my worst list. But this just first iconic moment, one of the best moments on Gotham, is the interrogation scene with Jerome. Hands down, definitely in my top 3. But yeah, it was just awesome. It was awesome. And that's when I really did enjoy Jerome. And yeah, number 2 on this list is the Batcave. And I know this isn't like really a big thing, but for me, the reason why it's one of the best moments is when Bruce finds the cave, like, you know, behind the bookshelf, or where, I mean, not the bookshelf, fireplace. That is when I was like, holy crap, this is finally getting into some Batman stuff. Because this was at the end of season 1. Like I said, season 1 wasn't the best in my opinion, because like they didn't feel like they knew what they wanted, and it didn't really start, I didn't really get interested in season 1 until the last 4 episodes with the Ogre, and then that's when this Batman stuff happens on the season finale. And I was just like, yes, I was so hyped for season 2, because they had found a Batcave. And, you know, I feel like Bruce was going to start training and start doing whatever in season 2. And, like, it was just, I was super hyped. I was super hyped. And it just felt like, I was like, all right, this show knows where it's going now. It knows it's going to go towards Batman. He's going to start doing all this stuff. Didn't really do that. But it was just the moment that I saw him find this cave, I was totally in this show. I was like, yes, this is the best. And, yeah, it's definitely in my top because, like, I don't know. It was just, for me personally, as a fan, it was just awesome. The number 1 thing, I'm pretty sure a lot of people could guess it, is Bruce versus Jerome. This is actually my top thing in the show. And I know a lot of people were like, what, but I didn't think you liked it, blah, blah. I thought it was awesome. And I know, I don't remember my review for it. Maybe I was a little down on it. Maybe I wasn't. But it was it was awesome in my opinion. But I'm more sour on what happened later on, because this should have been the moment that, like, he freaking made his no-kill rule at this point. Like, we had this awesome little fight between Jerome and Bruce. This was supposed to be their first battle that is going to be of a million battles in the future. And that's why I really liked it. Because, again, if you're just building towards Batman stuff in this show, you never got to show me him. You don't got to show me in his suit. I don't need that. I just need him building towards Batman. This was awesome. And like, this is just a cool Joker, pre-Batman fight. And it was just cool. Like, it was just cool. The way they shot it, the carnival stuff, like everything about that episode was dope. And like I said, I don't remember my review about it. I'm pretty sure there was something I was like, maybe not so blah, blah, blah. But, that's just kind of how I was at the time. But I don't know, that was just, like, the way it was filmed, the cinematography, everything about that was awesome. And, yeah, it sucks that we're not going to see that anymore because there's this Jeremiah guy. But again, it's another one of the reasons why I hate that they just got rid of Jerome, because you had this epic moment between Bruce, Jerome, future Batman, should have been future Joker, and it would have just been so cool, like, if the show did continue for X amount of seasons later, that you could always go back to that scene, like, it started here, that was their first battle, and, yeah, I don't know. It was by far the best thing that Gotham did, from, like, storyline to the way it looked. Was one of definitely the best moments in Gotham. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much gonna be my list. Do you agree with it? Do you hate it? What did I not put on there that should have been on there? Again, remember, these are my top 10s, but let me know your top 10s in the comment sections down below. Remember, guys, if you didn't see the worst 10 moments of Gotham, definitely go check that out. As always, I'm your host, JUICEbox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, my voice just cracked mid-sentence. Have a nice day, guys. Bye!